So, hi everyone and welcome back. We are now here live at our location in Gießen with Anna-Marlene Würz and Elena Hallang. Such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
First of all, would you like something to drink?
Sure. Yes. actually already prepared something. There you go. And I would already ask you the first question, if that's fine. So you are the people from Emmy and Christine, the web series. Amazing series, by the way.
Thank you.
And we were wondering, where did the idea for the series came from? So how did it all start?
It was a bit more like a waterfall effect. We started off with like little sketches, 1-minute sketches, and we created the characters. And then at some point we said, what would we do if we could create something a bit more ambitious? And it was quite clear that it would be a web series, because we were doing the sketches anyway, and we're web series or series junkies, and I love
Yes.
yeah, completely. And I'm addicted to like cliffhangers, and you can only do that with a web series, really, or a series, right? Yeah. And then realistically, with a budget, it was going to be a short form. Mm-hmm. And then we loved the characters so much, and had asked ourselves, what would we like to play ourselves, or what would we like to see or act in if we were to be casted in something. And then basically we just created our own little dream of a web series, of something that we enjoy watching, and
We wanted
enjoy
to have fun
exactly
as well as
and
actresses. So.
something we wanted to play as well.
Yeah.
And then we just sat down in a coffee shop and said, hey, let's just brainstorm.
Yes.
And we went bonkers, and Elena always, what do you always say? She was like, I don't know.
I'm always the one when we did the small short sketches, and I said, okay, it needs to be practical. We have to do it easily, and just 2 persons, and very, very easy. And then she, no, Elena, come on, no limits. Let's do this bigger. And I said, oh my God. So I was, how? With no money, how should we do this? So it was kind of crazy thing, but honestly, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, all
So
right.
I think that's where the inspiration came from.
Yeah.
Just to go with something and let loose for now. Yeah.
Well, it's so great that you just went for it and just like did it.
Yes.
And would you say there's like a little bit of Emmy and Anna, and a little bit of and a little bit of Christine and Elena? So you already mentioned it. So I kind of guessed.
Yes, I think so. Not completely, but we definitely have some moments where I can find myself and where I can find you. Yeah. Absolutely, definitely.
I mean, I'm not that rude to her in real life. We have a really good working relationship and a good friendship, and very respectful and loving, and like. Okay, loving might sound wrong, but you know what I mean?
It's like sisters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because one of the feedbacks was from someone, is this autobiographical? I'm like, what? No, but I guess because we work so well together, we, harmonized in the characters as well. And during filming, it was quite funny. At some point, Elena came to me, Anna, are you mad at me? We were out of characters. And it just so happened that we were filming, and on set, I kind of slipped into Emmy continuously. Like, I wasn't trying to do method or anything. It was just like trying to, stay in the character. And then
could be maybe the circumstances because of all the night shootings.
Yeah, we were.
It was really challenging.
We were wired. Yeah.
Crazy. I never write something like that again.
The hardest scenes we were probably filming at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock I was like, we have to finish now. We need to go home.
So sorry for interrupting. I just we need to take a little 5-minute break.
Okay.
We have some technical problems right now.
Okay, we'll be right back. Thank you for your patience. welcome back. Sorry for the short interruption, but now we're all set. And yeah, we were talking about like how the characters fit your real life, how the characters in Emmy and Christine fit your real life characters, and you were just telling us about the shootings and like all of you. Well, like I don't know if you want to just continue on that point. So now I hope we're all good, and sorry for the interruption again. But you were telling us about the shooting in the villa, and it was really late at night, and you like really had to be on time. Would you like to add something to that? Is there anything more?
That was more or less the most important scene.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And this is really hard. It hurts your heart if you cannot do it maybe 5 times for each of us or something like that. But we just had to do it. But for that, I'm quite satisfied. So we did it very well.
That's very nice to hear.
Yeah.
And to the question, we are, because we created those characters, they're obviously very close to who we are, but they're not us completely. It's not like the question was, oh, is this autobiographical? So we love each other very much. And I guess Emmy and Christine do as well. So
In the end, yes.
That's so great. It's like it's really nice to see the characters and to meet you here in real life and like just to get to know you. And we also want to get to know Marco Eisenblatt as well. He will join us. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Would you like something to drink as well?
Most certainly, yes. Hello.
Here you are.
Hi.
nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Skål. Hey, like in the bar, you know.
Cheers.
Whiskey.
Good old whiskey without ice. No, just a joke.
So, Marco, we were talking about the shooting of Emmy and Christine. And is there like a favorite scene you have or something you'd really liked to shoot? Like a particular scene?
There is a favorite scene, but I cannot talk about it, I'm afraid. You know what scene I mean? Like in the garage.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would be a huge spoiler.
Love it so much. And
Yeah.
Maybe you could pick a scene that you can talk about.
Well, I can tell you about like the scene I was most afraid of, but it turned into one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
That's when I read the script and there was like a car-to-car shoot in the middle of Frankfurt on a bridge, shooting them in a limousine, and I was like, No way. No way we're going to pull that off. But we did. We broke some traffic rules, but we did.
Yeah, absolutely. I just remember Marco being very reservedly excited. He wasn't going to show it to us. He had the smirk on his face, and it was like, this is going to be amazing, but I'm not going to show anyone.
That's a better way to put it, yeah.
It was great fun.
Yeah.
It was a dream come true.
It was fun, yeah.
And it's looking very, very good.
Well, thank you.
And we want to stay with you a little bit longer. You were already shooting documentaries like Bastards and also fictional series.
Yeah.
Where would you say are the biggest difference, and do you prefer one or the other?
I can't really say that I prefer one or the other. It's a whole different box of frogs, you know. I mean, you got all this preparation time, or you would like to have all the preparation time for fiction stuff, and you need to prepare for it very, very thoroughly. Whereas in documentary, you can only hope for what's going to happen. I mean, you can plan so far, and then everything else is going to change, and things are just going to fall in place. So, but coming from documentary filmmaking and documentary cinematography, totally helps with shooting like low budget and independent productions, because you have to improvise so much and you have to do so many things on the fly that all my experience in documentary filmmaking really helps me shooting fictional stuff.
That sounds very interesting. Yeah. So maybe you want to ask the other question again.
Again?
No, not the other question again. Or maybe you want to ask the question.
Yeah,
left out
sure.
earlier.
Sure. Yes, sure. The question was actually for you, Anna, because recently I saw on your Instagram a post, and you were, yes, and you were talking about female filmmakers and actresses in relation to the much higher percentage of males in those fields, and you said that this is one of the reasons why Emmy and Christine meant that much to you, or means that much to you. And my question is, was that planned from the beginning? I mean, you two met, of course, but was there like a special background that you said, okay, this is something we really want to make happen?
The reason why we made Emmy and Christine wasn't to be political about it, but it was quite clear that we are doing something that is not like typical, like two female leads in a dark comedy, bloody sort of whatever series or film is not that common, I guess. So we kind of knew this means a lot to us because we love watching that sort of stuff, but we would also like to see female leads in it. And it's funny, my brother is 20 years old, and I told him about it, and I asked him if he finds it exciting, or, you know, how do you feel about female heroes? And he says, oh, they're not as he's 20, and he says, oh, I don't know, I don't think I can change my mind yet, because I feel men are more, they can pull it off way better. And that made me feel like, no, it can't be, like, we need to change a little bit. So it wasn't all like, you know, like I said, to change the industry completely, but it had, you know, it meant even more so. It meant something more to us because of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're kind of making the statement also with the series.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's because I watch these films, like, don't know, maybe I mentioned it, like Mission Impossible, whatever. It's like, yeah, Tom Cruise is amazing at it, but a woman could just be, I mean, he's been doing it for, 12 years now, but a woman could carry that off as well. Like,
Definitely.
and more is happening now. You know, I'm not saying it's really bad, but I was glad that we could make something like that I really enjoy watching and have two female leads in it. And on top of that, we had a 50-50 team. That was very important to us as well. Yeah.
We saw so many panels during Berlinale, and it's always about women. Where can they be more in front of camera, behind the camera, whatever. It's so important, and it makes you really crazy if you see that percentage, and especially if you get older. So I'm a grandma already, so I shouldn't be here. I mean, this makes me very angry. So, and let's do it by ourselves. We did it, so.
Yeah, sure. You showed us that
Yeah.
we can make it happen. Yes,
Yeah, you did
definitely.
really a great job. And I have one final question for all of you. But you gave a glimpse of it before, so we will see more of Emmy and Christine. We hope to see more of Emmy and Christine.
We hope so.
Yeah, I mean, we do have 2 more episodes. Yes, we already wrote one more, but after the shooting, we decided, or we realized that's not enough. We have to squeeze one in between 3 and 4. So, yeah. We will see.
Yes, and hopefully then we will also see in the scene that you were talking about that you couldn't actually talk about, that you were like giving us a glimpse of.
I guess it's episode 2. Is it episode 2? Yeah.
If you want to talk about it, it's fine.
Nah.
No spoilers.
Stay tuned for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was
All right.
really nice to have you here, like live at our location, just like in these times. It's great to have people in real life here,
Yes.
talk with people in real life, meet people here, and talk about your great series. And yeah,
Thank you for inviting us. It meant
Our
a lot to
pleasure.
us.
Yes, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
yeah, thank you so much for being here. Really great to talk with you. And yeah, we'll hear more of you later, I think, in the Hessen Digital Series panel.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so great.
And that's also the panel that is going to come right after this interview.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Cheers.
Dear guests and audience, hello and welcome to our next Seriale Pro panel, Hessian Digital Series Production and Distribution. My name is Dasha Solovjeva, and in the next hour I'll give you, together with our guests, an exclusive insight into the growing world of digital series in Hesse. To start our panel, I would like to introduce our guests and experts. Since we have only a limited possibility to have some of our guests live on set, I would like to begin with them. Our first guest is Marlene Wirth, who's a great actress in the world of digital series, film, theater, and voiceover. With the Hessian production Anomalie by Tag und Nacht Media, she won the award for Best Actress at the Asia Web Fest. In 2013, she co-produced her first supernatural pilot, Stalker, and in spring 2017, Elena Harlang and Anna met in Frankfurt, which brings us to our next guest. Elena Harlang, a close friend and colleague to Anna Marlene. Together, they produced the web series Emmy and Christine, which has been nominated this year to our festival. Elena Harlang, a talented athlete, model, and actress who already worked for German television channels like ZDF and RTL. Anna Marlene and Elena met in March 2017 and began their creative collaborations. It started with 1-minute sketches, and their ambitions grew and ended up in the web series Emmy and Christine. It was clear to both of them from the start that they wanted to create something they would like to watch themselves, which meant that it had to be a story about friendship between women, riddled with conflict, absurdity, adventure, and blood. Our next guest is Marco Eisenbart, who had worked with Anna Marlene and Elena on their web series Emmy and Christine. He started his career 2012 in the documentary field and soon branched out into cinematography. As a director of photography, he shot a number of short films and series and produced with Christian Stadach the successful web series Anomalie. With his documentary series Bastard, he found an international audience and in 2020 founded his own production company, For Real Docs, that not exclusively but focuses on documentary filmmaking and high-end commercials. Currently, he's producing Bastards 2, Bad Company. Now we come to Jörg Buschka, a Hessian digital series producer, reporter, and director who started his career with directing documentary films for German TV productions. In 2006, his digital series format Buschka Discovers Germany started on YouTube and in 2012 was shown as a feature-length film on German public broadcast. In 2019, he won the Critics Award as the best German series for Buschka Discovers Germany at Die Seriale in Gießen. And this year we have his third season of Buschka Discovers Germany, Show Me Your East Side, in our festival program. And now we welcome our guests who cannot attend physically and join us via Zoom. And here is Sebastian Simon, the founder and managing producer of the animation film production Pixel Pack, which is focusing in film and series for TV and video on demand. His company Pixel Pack is working with young generation Hessian film, and they're supporting Hessian newcomer filmmakers in the field of politics and business. Our next guest is Guido Hettinger. Guido specializes in media and entertainment law, as well as corporate law, with an emphasis on the film, TV, multimedia, and IT telecommunication industries. Guido's experience including structuring international and domestic co-productions and merging acquisitions. Guido's clients include well-known film and TV producers, highly specialized startups, and other companies in the multimedia and IT telecommunication sectors. Guido is admitted to the bar in Germany, and he's a founding partner of Brehm and von Moers. And last but very not least is our guest Mariana Schneider, who works as a founding consultant at Hessen Film and Media, the Hessian Film Funding Production. The focus of her work is the structural and financial support of emerging talents and debut filmmakers. She started working as a researcher and later worked as a producer for TV documentaries at an independent production company in Frankfurt. She has worked at the Hessian Film and Medienakademie and as a freelance commission editor for pop culture programming at ZDF Arte. We live in challenging times. Let me first ask you how you survived the pandemic and if and how this has effect on your productions and plans. I think Anna-Marlene and Elena, I think you would like to start.
Okay. I'll try and keep that extraordinarily short because, apart from less castings coming through in the email box, etc. I mean, that's one side. The other side for us was actually we were quite lucky in the sense that we had during the first lockdown and the second lockdown, Emmy and Christine to focus on. So 2020, we already knew, okay, we wanted to shoot Emmy and Christine. Then the lockdown happened and we thought, okay, it's not going to happen this year. And then we thought, no, it has to happen. We don't want to keep, waiting. And then I think in April or June, we got together and we said, well, let's just give us 3 months pre-production. Let's shoot in September. We got the locations and we were lucky as well because they were closed. So they had a day where they could just let us in for free. Destino Bar was super kind. And we had a couple of locations that dropped out. And so we had to make some compromises, unfortunately. Because we didn't want to wait, because we kind of had a feeling, okay, we're shooting in September, October, beginning of October, there is going to be another lockdown, so we need to get this done now. So it kind of get us moving, really. And then lockdown happened and we were in post-production. And
I mean, we just had to watch out one location. That was the farm, where there was one elderly person, a grandpa. He had a surgery, right? Yeah. And so they told us, you cannot go into the house. Is it okay for you if you use this toilet? It's kind of Plumpsklo, and I don't know in English. So, but we were very autark, so we could do our thing, and they supported us very well. And we were careful, and everything went well with the grandpa as well.
So it was good and bad, but mainly good because we had Emmy and Christine and we could just focus on that. So we're quite grateful we had that, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And Guido, what effect did the pandemic have on your field of activities?
Yes, on the one hand side, it was a massive decrease of speed in my personal life, which was good. On the other side, in terms of my professional work, it was an extremely stressful year, a very good year as a consultant, because the pandemic caused tremendous problems to the producing companies. We had much to do because productions had to be postponed, had to be interrupted, because productions haven't been possible to insure against the pandemic, and so on and so forth. So we never worked that close with producers like in the past year, because it was so difficult for the producers to do well. Nobody knew what to do and which risks to face, and therefore for us it was an extremely challenging year. And we had many productions. This was a surprise, actually, because many other productions couldn't take place. But I had 8 productions I was working on in 2020, which is a lot. And so, yes, it was a challenging year and an interesting year and a successful year due to the pandemic. And sometimes it's difficult to say that, because I know perfectly well that so many people suffered from the pandemic, which was not the case in our firm.
Thank you so much for the honest answer. And my next question is to Mariana. Mariana, you represent Hessen Film, our funding organization. Can you describe your field of tasks and how Hessen Film supported the Hessian digital series producers, especially the young ones?
So my field of task, as mentioned before, I am a funding consultant, and together with my colleagues, the team of funding consultants, we're kind of the first person that produces filmmakers contact if they want to get in touch with the funding. Hessen Film is funding different stages of a film production, beginning from the very first development until distribution, but also cinemas, organizations that are in display and exhibition of films and audiovisual content can apply for certain programs of funding. So, and then, people call me, we stay in touch. I help prepare the applications, so I'm kind of part of the whole process. And if a project gets funded, then I'll be obviously on board on the whole process within our house, the communication, and also the development of projects. And in respect to young producers, also producers within the field of digital series, is maybe to point out one program that is a slate funding for emerging producers called Talentpaket. Here, relatively new companies in Hessen can apply for a funding that will last 3 years and is a kind of a funding that is divided into parts. One part will be for really setting up a company, for having an infrastructure and expanding. And the other part of the funding is really for projects that are in a very early stage of development and that they, over the course of the 3 years of the funding program, can be developed.
This sounds very, very interesting. Thank you. And now let us talk about development. As the industry says, content is king. But projects need time for the development and support, and the future tells us there will be funding needs. Now let me turn again to you, Mariana, and ask, how does Hessen Film support this very important area?
For once, like the Talentpaket, the slate funding for producers with projects in development, I already mentioned. But of course, it's possible to apply for development of scripts and of projects. There are certain programs. And on the rather structural side of funding, we also offer different seminars. This could be development of treatment or expose within a group over a certain time, or a seminar format that is called, so to translate it, like script development in 23 days, where the participants will have a whole month with 2 script consultants to set up a first draft of a script. So there are multiple means to really go into content, but of course it's also possible to reach out with kind of, okay, I have this project, can you help me brainstorm maybe on which markets to go? This is more of a kind of structural advisory support, if you want to say so, but also this is possible.
Thank you so much. And to the producers here, how do you work in this respect?
Soll ich mal was sagen?
Of course.
About this season, we already finished last year. We were talking to Hessen Film in 2019, and we were on a, so to say, good way. But then we couldn't manage to have 50% of the financing from our main sponsor, the people who actually financed it, the Federal Agency of Civic Education, Bundeszentrale für politische Bildung. And so we couldn't do a model with Hessen Film and Bundeszentrale für politische Bildung. But that would have been good to do this kind of financing in the future. But I'm still new in how to finance those things. So I talk to people like Mariana. and Guido and asked them, well, please help. And for my project, Dominic Lando helped to do the financing thing. And thanks to the fact that we already were working on the current project, I could survive the last year and now live on that, besides some corporate films. But otherwise it would have been quite problematic.
Of course. And you mentioned Guido. Guido, from your experience, what is your advice to development?
In a way, I'm the wrong person to talk about content, but I mean, if you talk about development, you are talking about project and project financing as well. And therefore, if you're talking about project financing or project development in Germany, you need to know that we don't have systems like tax rebate programs which exist in other European and international countries. Therefore, if you are developing content, you in a way always have to consider where to produce, exactly in which region, because normally you finance through regional funds, which means like in the state of Hesse, for example, that you need to spend the money you gain from your co-producer or directly in the state of Hesse at least to 100 or 150%. And so if you are to decide where to tell your story, this can be dependent. I just had a lunch 2 days ago when this was possible again with a producer from Berlin who wants to realize a project in Frankfurt, and therefore of course he has to tell the story which so far took place in Berlin in Frankfurt, because otherwise he cannot shoot here, he cannot tell the story here, and he cannot apply for funds here. And so beside a thrilling story and a thrilling topic, if it is possible, then one should always consider where you want to gain money for the production from and try to tell your story there.
Thank you. And Sebastian, do you have a similar experience with this field of development of production, or is it a little bit more different when you're working with debut filmmakers who maybe have some newer and some extraordinary ideas?
Actually, I think we were a little bit lucky because our main focus is working on series, shows and movies that are mostly animated. So animation is a kind of not completely safe, but you work just completely different. You don't have this big sets, you don't have that amount of persons working so close together that you have to deal with this kind of safety rules that you have on most live action sets. So last year actually developed in that way that on the one hand we are working for broadcasters like for Kinderkanal, Kika, where we had a shift in production, like Kika saw that they have to reduce their amount of live action production, so that actually helped us to produce more animation. This was kind of lucky for us. And at the same time, we put a lot of work into development last year. We finished 2 teasers for shows that we want to produce, and we try to make everything ready so that we can move forward faster with the stop of the pandemic. But actually, we were quite lucky with our kind of focus on animation, in contrast to other companies, I guess.
Thank you so much. Marco, you're our expert for documentaries. How was it in your field, especially with your new production company?
Well, I thing is that as of March of last year, we were scheduled to shoot the big season finale of our series Bastards in Miami, because that would have been the US debut of our protagonists. About 5 days earlier, the whole thing went into lockdown, and the wrestling business was non-existent anymore. I mean, wrestling is gone, and it is basically gone to this day. There is a silver lining, so there are developments that seem that we could pick up shooting soon. But we, with my company Paris, we used the time to develop new concepts, and we met a very talented director from the UK last year, which we shot a short documentary about a Syrian refugee who came to Germany, and he used to be like a pretty successful karate practitioner in Syria, and he's now going to the Olympic Games this year, thanks to a sports club that he found here in Hessen. So we took all of our resources and applied for funding at Hessen Film, and we worked very closely with Mariana, and we've been successful. So we did get the funding, and we hope to be shooting very soon. So we used the time to just build our company and build an infrastructure, and just and now with Honest Without Fear, that's the title of the film, and Bastards, we see that there's a silver lining on the sky, that we hopefully can pick up shooting again soon. So yeah.
That sounds great. It also sounds great, and it's nice to see that in Hesse many of the producers and production companies are working so close together and is helping each other, which is making the whole point so much nicer. Now, tell us about your future plans and how you plan and or want your series to be distributed. You kind of started with, you kind of answered this question already, but Anna, Elena?
I think we should talk to Mariana. Distribution is quite difficult, especially if you don't have a very famous actor or a YouTuber or whatever in your series, because obviously it's quite important, because they want clicks and it has to reach out to a big audience. Yeah. That's important, I know, but if you don't have money, you cannot pay somebody like this. And let's see.
We didn't start Emmy and Christine with a distribution in mind. We just wanted to get it done, and we loved the characters, and we wanted to tell the story. And we in the whole process, we fell in love with it so much more than what we were at the beginning, which actually means now we are asking ourselves a bit more what are the possibilities for us to continue writing and get production going again, and continue telling the story, because there's so much more that we have in our brains. It just doesn't stop. And we would like to be able to have pay the team as well, because it was just it's just.
It was a no budget.
Deserved completely, yeah. It's something that we're gonna occupy ourselves with, definitely now.
And we saw Emmy and Christine this is going to be our business card, visual business card. And if you don't have nothing, I mean, it's hard to get funded if you cannot say,
anything.
I did this and this. Now we can show something. You see what we are capable of with no money, more or less our own money. So, and I think now we have more chances for the future and to build up.
It was a prove to ourselves that that's something we want to do, because it could have been that we do these 3 episodes and then we're like, hell no, I'm going to go back to acting, only acting, that's it. But we grew really, really fond of becoming creators and continuing that story. So yeah,
we've learned a lot, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And honestly, it seems like, or it shows that people who make decisions start to realize that there is a market for web series, there is a market for short form series. People are starting to see the opportunities, and not only from the funding side, but also from the filmmaker side. More and more filmmakers are branching out into web series or producing short form content. And I think this shows, and it shows, like, whereas 3 or 4 years ago, this was, it was nice to do your little web thing, just have fun. It develops into a serious into a serious market. So and I guess it sounds mundane, but I guess the key thing is, we've heard it a couple of thousand times before, all of us. It really is persistence. It really is persistence. Like with Bastards, we are at the point right now, after 3 years after finishing the first season, and I don't want to say I gave up, but I just didn't think it would go anywhere. That right now we are at the point where there might be something very big around the corner, or there is something very big around the corner. And that's just the thing. It's just persistence.
It's very nice to hear that web series are slowly but getting recognition for their work, which they really deserve. And Jörg, since you mentioned YouTube, Bushka Discovers Germany is quite popular on YouTube already. So how will it develop in the next time?
It is quite popular in a way, but the thing is, when we started in 2006 with our first season, we have our 15th anniversary this year. We very shortly afterwards we went to 7load.de, which was a 20% of Burda media, and we were quite popular there, but didn't keep an eye and contact to the YouTube people. And then we came back on 2014 after doing a 90-minute film out of it, which is now on Amazon Prime Video. But we really never did this followers thing. So a month ago, we still had, after 15 years, 240 followers on YouTube, which means it's invisible. Now I started writing people on Facebook, hey, please do the abonnement thing. And thanks to the viewers, we are now around 400 or so. But the thing is, every season we have to invent the wheel again. It was a very, very good situation last year when we were fully financed. And now the intro, the opener for the next season is already funded by the Hessische Kulturstiftung, but not the content. It's supposed to be done. And now I'm asking befriended camera people to do an episode with me, sort of for free. I mean, who does that? So that's complicated. It's not yet financed, and the thing is, you need to be on YouTube with fresh stuff every week. That's the problem. That's what you guys said. It's not possible to do it on such a high level. That's the problem. So sometimes I will have to do it with film myself with a GH4 and talk over pictures, and I don't know. This sounds very sad. I mean, we now have a finance project, but that's the future with that. It's open.
Of course. So our time is coming to an end. I have many more questions to all of you, but I have one very important and one. Oh, I got the message that we have a little bit more time than I thought. So now I have to find the right card. Mariana, can you give us an oversight on further plans of Hessen Film to support digital series producers to find their way on national and international markets, including the possibility of co-productions?
I sure can, but it might be an oversight that still is a little bit foggy, so to speak, because we're still in the process. I mean, Hessen Film is undergoing since last year a kind of restructuring and refocusing process, so to speak, and definitely digital series are identified as one of the main pillars, one of the focus that the funding is going to work on. Our new guidelines for fundings will be published and working by 1st of January 2022. So there is we're in the development process right now of possible new funding tools, of adjustments that can be made and that can be helpful. What I can definitely say is that I don't know, please do approach us also with questions about these, what I said before, which markets to attend to, maybe just also if it's questions of how to contact, whom to reach out to, how to finance maybe a travel to a certain market, please do reach out to us because depending on it, we can just talk about it. And yeah, and one other thing, I think that in the, from 3 on, like the next program, is actually my colleagues Merle Rüffer and Patrick Schaaf speaking about production locations and even the structural support in finding a location, getting in touch with people, getting official agreements and permits. So if you're especially interested in that, stay tuned because I think they'll be talking more in depth about that.
So to our audience, tune in just a little bit later to find out more about production and location. Kind of the same question to you, Sebastian. What are your plans with Pixelpack and and the youth generation to give the chance on national and international markets?
Our focus is to push international co-production. So our gain is we are working with a lot of proof of concept teasers and trailers. So we try to make our vision of our series, of our shows clear in the beginning. Before we actually have to shoot, to get partners on board within the development, not afterwards, because a lot of, or mainly all of our shows actually only will work with international co-production because we have to get the value together. If you're talking about shows and if you talk about international standards, then you talk a lot. You soon talk about a lot of money. So for us, the focus is to visit markets with our proof of concept series Bibles, teasers, to get connections. A lot of connections that we already have are within the kind of, we started as a kind of service company, and within our script and show development, we more and more develop our own kind of market signature, kind of. So our gain is to get international our shows international visible with producing fast content, to produce teasers before we produce the whole shows, just to make sure that we get our partners as soon as possible on board for the later on funding.
Thank you so much. Guido, from your point of view, how do you judge the future of digital series for the Hessian series producers on the German, European, and even international market?
I see a bright future if the web series market turns professional, which it is for several reasons at the moment. And the main reason is that, to my mind, it is still difficult to distribute web series by means of earning money from licensing web series, especially if the web series are not customarily financed with big partners or with fundings or pre-sales or whatever, rather than being produced from own sources. It's very difficult to effectively distribute a web series which is produced that way. On the other hand, also due to the pandemic, one can see that the platforms or the number of platforms is increasing, and so they need content, and therefore there should be a bright future for content for platforms. And I personally think if you talk about co-productions, then you would have to try to finance at least around 50% from abroad and in Germany, from pre-sales or internal co-production with platforms, from the public broadcasters, private-run platforms, whatever, and to finance the rest then via fundings, tax rebate programs, distribution advances, and so on and so forth. So a classical way to finance a program. And if you succeed in that, then you will have earned money from the production of the program already. And you will have a strong partner. I think this is what Marlene and Elena said, because what you have produced will be seen. It is visible because you have a partner attached to the financing of the program, who will show the program. And if the program can be seen on any platform because the platform has co-financed, then it will be interesting for other licensees as well. And so I personally think there are good ways and a bright future for digital formats, because it is more likely than it was a few years ago that a distribution of such programs is possible, which is also a crucial issue for the grant of fundings from the Hessen Film, for example. They always need to be shown that there is a chance of distribution and earning back the funding. But I think one should try to attach in each country which is co-producing at least one broadcaster or platform into the financing. If you succeed in that, it should be quite easy to close financing for the rest.
Thank you.
Can I add something to that, what Guido said?
I would like to add something
Of course.
too, very small.
Of course.
I mean, I can only agree with what Guido said. And apart from that, I think it's also very important that all of us as filmmakers within the web series world, we need to grow up. We need to become a little bit more serious, because as of now, I mean, there are, I don't know how many web series festivals there are. There are a couple, you know. And to be quite frankly, like some of them, I'm not really sure if they are helping the cause, because there are festivals out there with a official selection of close to 200 series. That's not helping anyone, you know. If we want to be taken seriously, we need to take ourselves seriously. We need to lose some of that coziness we have. We need to, I mean, I hate that term, but we need to step out of our comfort zone. You know, we need to be more critical with ourselves. We need to subject ourselves more to harsh criticism, and we need to stop patting ourselves on the backs. Like, even if it was a nice try, sometimes the nice try does not count. I mean, we are expecting people to spend money. We want people to spend money for our products. And saying that, I am very well aware that this might lead to some of my project not making the cut. But I want to be taken seriously as a filmmaker. And I want to work with people who are serious about what they are doing. And yeah, I just think that we need to better sooner than later face this fact that this is not a playground. And we don't want it to be playground anymore. We want to play with the big guys, so we need to act like we are one of the big guys and girls, right?
I said some sad things about our YouTube situation, but we have almost like 10,000 clicks for one episode. Another one is like almost 2,000 clicks. I mean, which is not like the big YouTubers, but it's visibility. And we montaged a full feature-length film out of it that was broadcasted on German national television, and that was seen by 4.2% Marktanteil, which was 126,000 viewers. So this is visibility. But for the YouTube side, yeah, this all should match together, and that's something we have to achieve in the future.
Of course, these are very great points. I have one last question to every one of you. What have we learned from the past, and how can we use this to improve in the future? Sebastian, I would like you to start.
Like as Marco just said, I think the nice thing about the series is, or the short format is that you are free to discover. You make something small, and maybe this small will stay small, and it does not matter. But I think for the next step, it's important for all guys within this production, like the companies, but also the funding system, to make this whole thing work, like that nobody works for free within such projects, because if it's on running for free, it will stop as soon as the enthusiasm gets lower or less, and this would be sad. So yeah, the kind of professionalization, how do you call it in English? Professionalization, kind of professionalization of the series production would be my kind of gain also.
Yes, this is a great point. Mariana, what do you have to add to this point?
I think there are many points to make. Maybe if I could pick one, then it would definitely be what has already been said, especially by Guido, the distribution issue, kind to say, and the exhibition, the question of windows for distributors, exhibition, but also alternative ways for distributing, and for taking into account the different platforms and the different ways that there are for content to reach people, and how this also affects how the content itself is structured. I think this is very important from my perspective as working at a funding institution, to take that into account and to reevaluate constantly how what we offer and how we offer this can fit to these ways of distributing, and so to say, evaluating content.
Thank you so much. Now we slowly have to come to an end. This was our Seriale Pro panel, Hessian Digital Series Production and Distribution. We hope that you had a great and educational time. Many thanks to our guests, Anna-Marlene, Elena, Marco, Jörg, Sebastian, Mariana, and Guido, for being with us. Have fun with our further program.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
and a warm welcome to our little virtual location tour through the very much diverse state of Hesse. My name is Merle, and I'm the film commissioner from Hesse, working for the regional fund Hessen Film and Media. I think we all would rather be in Gießen right now, enjoying the last days of Seriale, having a drink with colleagues, and inspire each other by seeing new places. But let's make the best of it, and I hope you all can enjoy our little location tour. With me today is my colleague Patrick Schaaf. He's currently in Bilbao looking for the Seriale studios. Patrick, how's the weather over there?
Hi, Mel. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, it's a pure coincidence that I'm on vacations in Bilbao and San Sebastian these days, and Bilbao is also an important partner of the Seriale. But yeah, my name is Patrick Schaaf. I'm the head of strategic development of the Hessen Film and Media, and I just want to be a small assistance to Merle. So Merle, just pick it up from here.
Thank you, Patrick. So today we will give you a little insight of locations, funding possibilities, and co-production options. Gladly, 4 production companies from our state have prepared small little short pitches. So without being here, you're able to see at least some places and faces from the region. So to dive into the vibe of Hessen's locations, at first we would like to show you a little short location trailer. So lay back and enjoy the trailer. Okay. Well, big thanks to Chongo Dubrovka, Marco Eisenbart, and the entire Seriale team for creating this wonderful trailer. So before we dive a bit deeper into the great places that Hessen has to offer, we would like to talk to you a little bit about producing in Hessen. So for this, I'm going to share my screen quickly with you. And I hope you can see my screen now. So let's start with the Film Commission. The Film Commission is a service point for everyone who wants to produce or shoot here in the region. We offer location services, so if you have an idea for your project or you're searching for something particular, I'll be happy to assist you, but also I'm happy to connect you with all the great location scouts we do have in the region. We provide assistance for filming conditions and production infrastructure. If you already have a project planned in the region, I'm happy to help you find the right staff and crew for your project. And of course, I also do support and communications with local public agency. So, for example, if you need a shooting permit, etc., I'm happy to help you with contacts and forms and contacts to the people you need to speak to do so. Also, we do offer location guide and production guide services. At this moment, unfortunately, it's only in German, but we're working on it to provide it in English as soon as possible. So in the location and production guide, you have a list of potential locations from the region and also the professionals in all kinds of fields, from producers to camera crew, etc. And also, if it's not COVID, like right now, we do host networking events and try to make the best of it to provide online networking events and location tours like this one. So I'm going to pass to my colleague Patrick, and he will tell you a little bit about the funding possibilities in our region.
Yeah, I guess the fundament of almost all successful projects, productions is a sufficient budget. And as Hessen Film and Medien, we're also always welcoming interesting projects from abroad. One of the conditions is that you have a regional co-production partner, and in the coming minutes you will get to know some of them who would be interested in working with you. And we're funding a broad range of projects. We're also funding digital series, we're funding documentary films, we're funding short films, long films, all kind of formats. And yeah, please feel free to contact our colleagues. You find their contact details at www.hessenfilm.de, and yeah, they will be gladly in touch with you. And but also maybe one step before, you can also contact Merle if you're looking for a co-production partner. She will also have some recommendations for you. And yeah, most or the 100% of the funding you get have to be spent here. But I guess there are sufficient possibilities for that, as we also have very good capacities and facilities for post-production and good crew members in all departments. So we're looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you, Patrick. So now that we learned a little bit about the possibilities and services in our region, let's talk about all the great places we have to offer. But so Hesse is historical. It has over 800 castles, ruins, and fortifications. On top of that, it's mystic. Like the Brothers Grimm are two Hessians from Hanau, and there's fairy tale places everywhere in the state. With the city of Frankfurt and its finance headquarters, it has quite a unique skyline. As some of you might know, the skylines as seen in North America or Asia is not quite common in Europe, but we actually do have one of these skylines, so it makes it quite unique. But it's also magical, as 42% of Hesse is covered with forests. So enough with the facts, let's see some locations. As already mentioned, Hesse is quite a historical place. When I first moved here, I was amazed about all the old and historical places seen in this region. Well, the state of Hesse, as we know it today, only exists since 1945. But you can imagine that this place goes way back. So let's have a look at Löwenburg Castle, for example. It was built between 1793 and 1801, but this place has a speciality to it. It's a mock medieval ruin. So what does that mean? So this ruin was built in the style of medieval castles, but it's actually not. So this is a great plus if you want to shoot here and you want to shoot, for example, a setting taking place in the medieval times. The Löwenburg offers a great place where you can actually, because it's in such a good shape, as you can see on this picture, you can almost see the knights riding through the castle. Let's travel a bit further down to a place called Alsfeld. So some of you might wonder about the name, and there's actually a myth to the name, and the myth goes like this. There was a rider on his horse, and he was riding down the hill close to Alsfeld. When he was riding, the winds were so strong that his head kept on falling from his head. And this translates to Alsfeld, meaning everything falls. But luckily, the town of Alsfeld hasn't fallen down. So it was first documented in 1069, and it still stands until today, and is one of the most best preserved old towns in Hesse. And also, there have been some great films been shot here. This is the making of. It's a shooting of Wolfgang Holbein's Die Wolfgang, which is a film, a mystery children's film, almost entirely shot in the old town of Alsfeld. So if you're interested in companies that that are actually quite able to do amazing historical films, I'm happy to show you the trailer and the little pitch of a company called Pixelpack. So let's hear their film and see, of course.
Hi guys, my name is Sebastian. I'm founder and producer at Pixelpack. We are a studio based in Offenbach, which is nearby Frankfurt. And we are producing a lot of animation and post-production stuff. And we are running this office since 2014. We are focused on animation and visual effects, means most of our projects are within this focus, but we also do live action movies also. Right now we are developing and producing several projects. I will just drop a few of them. Leon Blotter, an animation show for kids about Dream Deliverer. Another show is Wild Wild Talk, where animals within nature and our domestic life tell us about their everyday struggle. Mortimer and the Vanishing Things, which is a short movie which will be released 2022, and it's a proof of concept pilot for a show also. And last but not least, 11th Passenger, probably our biggest project. It's a science fiction mystery thriller, which is a live action show which brings us through 3 different main locations: planet Earth in 50 years, the International Space Station, and an unknown planet. Me personally, I think that Hessen, there's so much possibility here to create original series and show stuff, as the Seriale made it to an international spot on planet Earth. We are always open for international co-production, because this is the focus that we want to put on our productions. The bigger the quality, the more partners you need. So for us, international co-production is the way to go. So if you guys have any ideas for projects that might fit in our portfolio or in our kind of thinking things, then feel free to contact us. We are always happy to get connected. See you!
So thank you very much, Pixelpack, for this great little introduction. If you want to contact them, please find here their website and also an email address. And I'm sure they will be happy about your email or your call. So as already mentioned, they do sci-fi, which leads me to our next chapter. So with all the castles and fairy tale locations here in this region, you wouldn't expect great locations for sci-fi projects. Well, I'm going to show you otherwise. So this place, for example, is called Wasserkuppe. Wasserkuppe is the name of the highest mountain in Hessen. And the building you can see on top is called Radom, the Radio Dome. It's a cultural monument, and it has a 360 surround view on the region. And it's actually used for events. So you can actually go inside and have this quite surrealistic location with a wall structure and lights. The next stop on our trip leads us back to university, but this is actually a university we all would like to go back to. This is the place called TU Darmstadt. It's the Technical University of Darmstadt. And this room you can see right here, it's their major lecture hall. And this lecture hall is called Lichtwiese, meaning light meadow. And the name actually speaks for itself. So the university was founded in 1877, and it's a great mixture with the buildings of classical architecture, but also quite modern architecture. This modern architecture you can really see in the technical side of the university. For example, the ESA, the European Space Agency, has a research laboratory, which also looks amazing. So here you can also see a lecture hall. This building was actually originally built in 1904. Hard to imagine, as it looks quite surrealistic, like a spaceship. But the little windows on the side maybe give a little hint that it's originally from older times. So it was renovated in 2013, and it does look like a spaceship. So if you're interested in sci-fi and mystical projects, I'm happy to show you a little pitch of a company called Tag und Nacht Media. Let's see their film.
Hey guys, this is Stefan from Tag und Nacht Media, and we make series. Our company is based in Darmstadt, and we do also a lot of service productions for different companies. It can be from the first idea to the final project, but we also provide the whole services like pre-production, the shooting, the post-production for picture, for animation, for sound, for music. We make own series. Our latest project was Anomaly. Maybe you've seen it on one of the last festivals in 2020. It was mainly shot in Darmstadt and the surrounding areas, and it was a great time for us because it was really cool to discover new locations and to get in contact with so many people that are really open to new projects, to new ideas here. So we feel very lucky to be here with our company, but also to be shooting around this area. So if you want to get in contact with us, feel free, just get in touch. See you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Tag und Nacht Media. If you want to contact them, I'm happy to share with you the contact details on this sheet. And also, I'm sure they will be happy about your email or your call. Oh, sorry. So from sci-fi and spaceships, let's move to Frankfurt and check out a great place for big city shots. Frankfurt is one of the most important international finance headquarters, and it hosts numerous banks. For example, the European Central Bank, but also the greatest tower, the Commerzbank Tower. And it's quite of an old town as well. So it was one of the most important cities of the Holy Roman Empire. So what you will get here is a great mix of historic and modern architecture. Here you can see an opening shot of the series Bad Banks, and you can really feel that it's a thriller setting, and it's not really known if it's Europe or Northern America. So yeah, the shots can vary, but you will have a great urban flair. So if you want to produce or shoot in Frankfurt, I'm sure that this company will be of great interest to you. Let's see it from Roter Panda Film.
Yeah, Roter Panda Film Production. My name is Emre Erdoglu. I am an actor and a writer.
Hello, my name is Christian Wolf. I'm a producer and a writer.
Hello, my name is Ismail Erdoglu and I'm writer and director.
Hey, I'm Cristian Ciroio and I'm the DP and the producer. Our main work consists on developing stories and working on fiction projects. Since we all have different cultural backgrounds, it makes it easier for us to adapt our stories. At the moment, we are working on several web series and we are in the process of writing some new scripts. Cristian and Ismail had already 2 different projects which premiered on a Seriale in 2019. One of the web series we are working on, Taxi Connection, we hope we will be able to show it to you next year at the Seriale. And Security is one of our other web series, which is in pre-production at the moment.
We're all based in Frankfurt, but the funny thing is, I didn't meet Christian in Frankfurt. I was on a shooting in Hanau, where I was an actor, and Christian was doing the camera. And so when we started talking to each other, I was asking him, where are you from? And he said, from Frankfurt. I said, cool, I'm from Frankfurt too. So where do you live? And it turned out that we are neighbors. And Christian, we also didn't met in Frankfurt. It was on the Seriale 2019. Thanks for this, by the way. Ismail had his project Security premiered on the Seriale 2019, and Christian was also there with the project. And so we started networking, and now we become close friends and partners.
We think the infrastructure is really good in this area specifically. The very big airport and also very central in Germany. And the film people, the film professionals, they know each other in this area very well, so it's easy to connect, hook up, work together, set up a team and produce.
Yeah, and also Hessen has a lot of different events and locations, which makes it really interesting for us, because you can shoot movies, city movies here like in no other place in Germany, because we have here the skyline from Frankfurt, and also we have here in Hessen a lot of castles, like you can shoot movies about knights or whatever. And the most thing what makes Hessen interesting is, in my opinion, it's a multicultural city and place, because we have also here a lot of film festivals, and these film festivals we have like Nippon Connection, Go East Film Festival, the Turkish Film Festival, and it makes really interesting for us, and I think also for other people to work here and connect with each other.
Thank you very much for this short clip. So if you want to contact them, here you can find their website and also an email address. So from Frankfurt and from a major city, it's only a 30-minute drive to be in nature and in magical places. Our next step is, to be honest, one of my favorite places in the region. This region is called Rheingau. It's not only famous for its wines, especially Riesling, which I very much like, but also for its numerous castles and for its located along the Rhine River. So this region, if you want to shoot historical film or also more romantic settings, this is actually a great place to go, especially in autumn, when the leaves of the wine plants will turn orange and red, which is quite beautiful. Here you can see a shot of the castle Ehrenfels to get an idea of the castle setting along the Rhine River. And actually on the other side of the river, you can also see another castle. So everywhere you look, you will have a castle. So I've been speaking a lot about this fairy tale settings and so on. Of course, in Hessen, we do have a fairy tale forest. Not only one, but many of them. So one of these is called Reinhardswald. It's one of the oldest forests in the state, and you will find plants up to 1,500 years old. And as already seen in the opening shot, this bridge is called Devil's Bridge. And of course, the Devil's Bridge leads over the Devil's Pond. So again, this is quite an interesting and mystic setting. So if you're interested in nature shots and so on, I would like to present to you 4 Real Dogs, which is a production company. So let's hear it for them.
I'm the founder of For Real Dogs, a production company from Darmstadt, Germany that focuses on documentary films and doc-style filmmaking. Now when I say we focus on documentaries, it doesn't mean that's what we do exclusively. We also produce fictional films and commercials. I've been a freelance cinematographer and director since the year 2012. And after shooting some films here, making some friends there, in the year 2020 I took it to the next level and founded a company. Shortly after that, 2 of those friends I met along the way joined me as producers, and now together we sail the ship. Right now we are not only working on Bad Company, the 2nd season of our wrestling doc series Bastards, but also our very first feature-length documentary titled Honest Without Fear, which is funded by Hessen Film. We actively decided not to leave Darmstadt but set up shop here. The whole Rhine-Main region, and Darmstadt in particular, over the last couple of years has truly transformed, with a decent number of production companies emerging. Well, that's for one, of course, competition, but on the other hand, we have been working and will continue to do so with many of them. And that is something that is very important to us: community. That is also one of the reasons, as of this year, we've created something called For Real Tech, an equipment rental branch of our company that aims to provide independent film and series productions with state-of-the-art equipment. So that's us. We're excited to see what's gonna happen in the next couple of years. If you want to, hit us up, say hi, we'll be happy to meet you. Thank you and all the best to all of you. We're for real.
For real.
Thank you very much, Marco, for this trailer. So if you want to contact them, I'm happy to show you the details from 4 Real Dogs. So producing in Hesse in a nutshell, what does that mean? We do have a wide range of professional crew members, leading from camera staff, as for example, Marco Eisenbart, who actually shot the location trailers you saw, to great producers, as you already seen. It's located in the heart of Germany, easily accessible through Frankfurt Airport, one of the biggest airports in Europe. And again, as you already saw, we have talented and ambitious producers. On the other hand, we have rarely shot locations. Of course, there have been amazing films and series shot here, but there's also a lot of locations that have not been shot at all. So I'm sure you will find a location that fits just right for your project. And also, of course, die Seriale as Germany's home for web series. If you want to get in touch with me or my colleague Patrick, please find our contact details below or on our website www.hessenfilm.de. Thank you very much for listening, for watching. I hope you will have a great time at Seriale, and I hope to meet you all in person very soon.
Looks like Hessen has a lot to offer on great film locations. And also thank you for the amazing teaser. Now our pitch contest is about to start, and it'll be streamed on SparkFest. Later on tonight at around 8 p.m., you're welcome to join our networking session again, which will be again on Wonder.
We hope you enjoy the rest of today's program, and we will see us again tomorrow morning. Bye.
Bye.